Hey guys, it's Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Today we're going to finish our look at To Live Is To Die by Metallica. So we're about the 4.5 minute mark here, and we're at the harmony guitar section. So we're going to start first with the rhythm that goes on underneath it. It sounds like this. Alright, so it's just based around a few power chords here. A power chord. And they do that kind of a low E string, and then the A, then back to low E, kind of mute. Kind of a thing, you know. It's really kind of a natural way of playing it. Down to the power chord of the third fret on the low E. Kind of the same thing there. Then the open E, then the first fret, try this. After you play that first fret power chord, you're going to play the single note here at the third fret on the low E, and then go through those chords again, but we're going to end it a little different. So instead of ending at the first fret there, you get end at the third fret power chord. All right, so Kirk Hammett's harmony part sounds like this. All right, so that is just a hammer on there from 4 to 5 on the G. Pick that a couple times, and then a little quick trill between 4 and 5, back to 4. Then 7/5 on the D string. So this. All right, now when you get to that, hit that again. Then a couple more times. Back up to 7. Hammer 4 to 5 again on the G. Then pick 5. Slap it to 7 and hit that again. Then that's 4 on the G, 5 on the D. And then you're going to hang out on the 5th fret there again. And that's just down, up, down, down, down. And then start over by doing that rhythm again to that top note to start it over with that hammer on. So we have this all together. Let's start over. Kind of stop there when it goes into the clean section. Let's take a look at James Hetfield, who plays the high harmony here. After he's played that through one time, the second time through, this is added on top. Now that ending, we have a couple of options there. There's the way that sounds right and fits the same harmony built-in thirds that the entire section is built on, and that the way he plays it, just the very few times they've played it live. And then there's the way that's actually on the recording, where that last briefly they jump and harmonize it with a fourth. So there's a way it's on the recording and the way that actually probably sounds better, and they do it live. So I'll give you both options. So we're going to hammer 7 9 on the G, then pick that a few times. So it's the same kind of same concept here, just a different notes here. Then it'll trill again between 7 and 9 this time, and then 10 9 on the D. Pick that 9 again, a few more times, up to 10 on the D. So exact same phrasing as the previous one. And then hammer 7 and 9 again, pick it, slide up to 12. And here, back down 7 on the G, 9 on the D. Pick that note, let it ring a little bit, and then we have the part where I was talking about earlier. Now, what they do live, and it sounds great, and it stays with the harmony and thirds concept. So it's just that same little rhythm we did down here. 9 on the D, over to 7 on the G, then back to the 9. But once again, on the actual album, he does this. So it's the 9th fret on the G instead of the 7th. So up to you. Whichever one you want, you think sounds better. All right, so let's move on along here. We have the finger picked section. So I'm gonna drop the pick for a second, and I'll play through it real quick, and then we'll take a look at it. Alright, so it's really the same thing that's just repeated. We're going to start here with an A minor chord. Now, play an A minor, but lift your first finger off the 2nd string. And we're going to have, I pick in the low notes usually with my thumb, so a lot of times if you see a note that's on the wound string, bass string, is played with my thumb, and the rest, if you see James Hetfield play, he pretty much uses just his thumb and his index finger for a lot of it. Depends on what your fingers picking chops are, what level they're at. So really the note is just going to be the open A string and the open B, then hammer on that 1st fret to create the full A minor chord. Then the G string and the D. So I'm just doing that. You can see the finger uses like middle finger, then index, thumb. And then I go back to the B string with the 1st finger off of it again. And we're going to do a little trill, 0 1 0, back to G. The G string there. So we have this. All right, from there we're going to go to this G. So that's the 3rd fret on the low E, and then the open B string. Hold that for a quarter note, and then go. So what's going on there? I have the 2nd fret on the G string, followed by that thumb on the low E again, then the open G, back with the thumb there. So we have this for this. So for the A minor, all right, now this next part is based around an E minor chord, so just hold an E minor, and we have this, just a quarter note of the low E and the G string together, open G. Then play, you might want to use your index finger here on the D string here, because it's an 8th note. So we have D string, A string, G string, low E. So the E minor chord. So we put those 3 chords together, A minor. Alright, now we have this. Alright, so this is going to be, we're going to play the 1st fret on the low E string and the open G, and then hammer on the 2nd fret on the G string as you do that. And then just pick the open D and the open A, just with a thumb on each. So all 4 together now. All right, now we're back to the A minor chord here. A little different pattern. We're going to play the A and the B string together. Already got the full A minor there. Now here we have those 2 out, the open A and the B string. Then we have G and D. Then you're going to put your pinky there at the 3rd fret on the B string. Now James Hetfield actually shifts up and grabs it like this, so he just holds his G like that. I like to do it like this way so I don't have to move around so much. So we have just the G note. I'm sorry, it's a D note, but it's a 3rd fret on the B string, and then the open low E string real quick. So we have this, and that's gonna go to this chord, the G chord. So far we have this. So from there, you hone the G here again. So it's the 3rd fret on the low E, 3rd fret on the B. Then you're gonna let them ring for a quarter note. Then you're gonna pick the 3rd fret there on the low E with the thumb. Then open B, open G, open low E. So we have this. Then we're back to the E minor chord. From there, we're just gonna play the open G and B together again, and the D to the A again. So similar to before, but here we're gonna play the open G. I use it with my index, and then I'm gonna grab this I'm gonna pick that A string, which I'm holding with the 2nd fret there, and the open B together. So we have this. So then I can just go and grab this G, the G string, open G string with my index finger, and the thumb's going to take care of the 3rd fret note there on the low E string. And from there, just hold you just hold a G major here, the 2nd fret on the A, 3rd fret on the low E, 3rd fret on the B. So we have this. Then you're going to pick the D string, A string, B string, open A. So we have this all together. Then we just start over with the exact same thing, except you don't start it with that hammer, you just go straight into the A minor. But you do still do that trill, so instead of this, it's just this. So the exact same thing, and that repeats. Now over that, we have some volume swells that you can do with a volume pedal or just the volume knob on your guitar. This guitar doesn't have the volume knob that awfully close, so you have to kind of move around. If I had my Strat, if I was playing this guy, it'd be a lot easier. But anyway, so here are those volume swells. Now we're just going to play the 7th fret on the low E, 7th fret on the A, and then 5th fret on the G string. So you might want to just, if you can play those with no volume on at all, and then swell them in. So we have the volume all the way down, 7 on the A, 5 on the G. Remember, you're muting all the other strings. So you pick and kind of volume swell in, and then you can play the 5th fret on the D, 7th on the G. All right, so that sounds pretty cool. And then the 7th on the low E and the 5th on the D. And then 8 on the low E, 7 on the D. So that's the first time through, so it sounds like this. All right, then the second time through, the first 3 chords are the same. It's just this last chord here is now going to be the 5th fret on the A, 4th fret on the G. So basically it's 8 chords, and the first 4 and the second 4 are the same except the very last chord in each. And then you just take all of those 8 chords and just kind of play them again and again. They just kind of repeat. Now, after that, we do have another solo that comes in over this section. Now that happens at, where's the mark? It's at the 5-minute and 51-second mark. So let me play this solo for you real quick, and then we'll take a look at it phrase by phrase. All right, so the first phrase of this is going to be hammering. I'll just play it real quick. Yeah, like that. So we have a hammer from 7 to 9 on the G, then play 9, shift down to 7, 5, back to 7. You can kind of do a little trill between 5 and 7. Then slide down to 4, over to 7 on the D. From there, the next phrase. So we're gonna go from just kind of mess around with the 5-7 on the D, 4-5 on the G. A little trill there, over to the 7 on the D, and then back 5-4 trill again, then 5-7 on the D. Slower. All right, then we have this next phrase. All right, so that's going 5-7 on the D again. Then you pick 4, slide up to 5, pick 5, slide to 7, slide up to 9, hammer on at 9 to 10, back to 9. Kind of, you're picking each note a couple times. And then you play 9, 10 again. Kind of a little trill. Down to 7, kind of slide it down to 7. Slide down to 5, slide down to 4, so kind of go on pick, slide, Then 5 on the D, 4 on the G, back to 5 on the D. Then pick this a few times, then back to the 7th fret on the D. All right, from there we have this. All right, so that's the 7th fret muted a couple times on the D string, and a little trill between 4 and 5 again. Back to the 7th fret there once, and then back to the trill. Then we have 5, 7, slide to 9, back down to 7. Then pick 5th fret on the B string, then a half step bend and release. So we have this. Over to 7 on the G, half step bend and release at the 4th fret on the G string. Then we play 7, 5 on the D, 4 on the G, and instead of resolving here, you're gonna 12 to 14 hammer on the G string. All right, so up here, the final phrase of the solo. All right, so this 14 a couple times on the G string, got a muted little trill between 12 and 13 on the B, back to the 14 on the G string, and back to a little trill. So with this, then we pull off 13 to 12 on the B, picking 12 twice on the G string. Do that again. Then we have this little melody to end it. That's 15, 13, 12 on the B. And then whole step bend and release at the 14th fret on the G. All right, so from there we go back to the harmony solo, which is the exact same thing that they played earlier that we started this video with. Same chords underneath it as well. Now, at the 6-minute and 46-second mark, we have our final really new section of the song, which is just an extension that they do on this harmony part. We have a different kind of rhythm going on underneath it, and obviously 2 harmony parts. All right, let me show you the rhythm underneath it first. It sounds like this. So we just kind of hit that chord half a dozen times. All right, so this is kind of just, if you're going to be playing this, you probably, if you have 2 guitarists, one's going to play, you're just going to play the harmony part like they do live. But it's just the A power chord, and then low E twice, and then the 3rd fret on the low E. Heavily muted there. Do it a few times. Into the 3rd fret power chord on the low E. Kind of the open E, back to the power chord. So, I mean, if you know this style, you know what I'm doing here. So, repeat. Then it goes to B, so we have the B power chord off the 2nd fret of the A string. And that's, you play the chord, and then play it again, and then heavily palm muted the 2nd fret on the low E string, then the open A, and repeat. Into the A power chord. And then when you go back around to play the B, that again, you just basically hit the B 6 times. And then that final little Freetime harmony section, which we're getting ready to get to, you hit the low, the power chord, the 2nd fret of the low E string. All right, so let me play Hetfield's harmony part for you first, and then I'll do Hammett's, which is the higher harmony. So it sounds like this. All right, a lot there. So we're gonna start here at the 7 on the A to 7 on the low, 7 on the D to 7 on the A. So 7, 7, and then A, D, A. So D, A, D, A. So that's the pattern. Then move it to the 5th fret on the G and 7th fret on the D. Same pattern there. Then the 5th fret on the B and 5th fret on the G. So we have this. down to the 5th fret on the D. Then, so that's 5, then 4, 5, slide into 7, then into 9 on the G string. Repeat. Then it's pretty much the exact same thing, 2 frets higher. All right, so after you've done it once, up 2 frets, then he starts mixing it up a little bit. Now his part is the one that kind of changes a little bit. So we have this. We'll get it into that Freetime part. So that's the pattern here at 9 on the D to the A. Same as before, and then 7 to 9, 7 on the G, 9 on the D. And then he stops the pattern and goes back down to the beginning notes and does the pattern 4 times there. And then over the little Freetime section, we're going to end this section with 6 on the G string, hammer 7, back to 6, and then up to 11 on the B, pick it, and then hammer to 12. Then we're back. All right, so Kirk Hammett's part there sounds like this. So there's a little pause in there. That's what he does there, because when Hetfield's doing his kind of almost random stuff, this is kind of just how it all works out. So you have to know the music really well by ear. So we're going to start here. We basically just up a third all the time. So we have a 5 on the G. Same pattern though, 5 on the G, 7 on the D. And then the 5 on the B to the 5 on the G. And then on the same string, 8 and 5 on the B string. So we have this. Then down to the 3rd fret on the B. Then 4 on the G. Back to that 3. 5, 6, and then slide to 8. Repeat. Then the same thing, 2 frets higher. And then he starts playing there the same thing that he did before. And then he just stops. Hetfield does just the pattern once there. And then he continues again, harmonizing him. So he's going through the pattern. So he basically does that twice. When he gets up here, after they've played through it harmonized together, he does this. Pause, and then we're back. Start that again. And then he's just going to move up here, 7th fret on the high E string, between the pattern between 7 on the high E and the B. And then he just holds that note, and that starts the Freetime section. 7, hammer 8, over to 6 on the high E string, and then 9 on the G, 9 on the high E string, and hammer 10. Now you can play those two together. Let me just see if we can do that. If you really want to play them together, you can do it. Let me turn this down a little bit. So we have 7 on the G and, 6 on the G, 7 on the B. Move up a fret, and then come back down to the 6 on the G, but go to the 6 on the high E with it. And then 11 on the B and 9 on the high E string. Slide it up a fret. All right, sounds pretty gross when you got it, that much distortion on it. All right, and then we're back to the same rhythms. The only thing that's different at the end of the song, they just kind of hit the low. You'll see it when it comes up at the end. Kind of hang out on that power chord there, the second fret on the low E. But other than that, we've already covered all the parts that you're going to see for the rest of the song. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this in-depth breakdown of To Live Is To Die. It's a great one. And it's really fun to play once you get it all down. Hopefully you got a buddy you can jam with and you guys can do those harmony parts together. All right, I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.